Good morning, you're watching A News. I'm Dilek Tuna. Here are the top stories for the hour. The United States vetoes a UN Security Council resolution demanding an immediate Gaza ceasefire. Donald Trump and Keir Starmer unveil a technology prosperity deal and renew special relationship for a new era. Azerbaijan marks the second anniversary of local anti-terror measures in Karabakh, which fully restored the country's territorial integrity. The UN Security Council has failed to adopt a resolution calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. The United States vetoed the measure, leaving the release of hostages and the flow of humanitarian aid in limbo.
The United States has for a sixth time used its veto to block the United Nations Security Council efforts to halt the war in Gaza on Thursday. The draft resolution was demanding an immediate, unconditional and permanent ceasefire, the release of hostages and unrestricted humanitarian aid deliveries. 14 of the Council's 15 members voted in favour of it. The US said the draft was unbalanced, arguing it failed to condemn Hamas and ignored Israel's right to defend itself. But aid officials warn famine is already confirmed in Gaza City and surrounding areas, with civilians being killed while searching for food. The Palestinian ambassador to the UN, Riyad Mansour, says it's heartbreaking that the draft has been blocked.
This draft resolution represents the bare minimum that humanity, legality, and morality dictate. It is deeply regrettable and painful that it has been blocked, preventing the Security Council from playing its rightful role in the face of these atrocities and to protect civilians in the face of genocide.
However, Israel praised the US for vetoing what it called a biased resolution. Ambassador Danny Danon said humanitarian aid continues to flow into Gaza, with hundreds of trucks and medical evacuations of people taking place. He also criticised the draft for failing to label Hamas as a terrorist organisation. The Council will reconvene on Gaza next week as world leaders gather in New York for the UN General Assembly.
World leaders gather next week in New York for the 80th UN General Assembly. New York officials said on Thursday the city is deploying thousands of police officers, drones and counter-terrorism units to secure next week's UN General Assembly, though they stress there are no credible threats. Mayor Eric Adams said security would cover streets, subways, airspace and waterways as leaders from around the world gather for the annual debate. The General Assembly speeches begin on Tuesday, with the 193-member world body hosting nearly 150 heads of state or government, along with dozens more ministers. Key topics are the Israel-Hamas conflict, Ukraine, Palestinian statehood and Iran's nuclear program. US President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania have left the UK following an unprecedented second state visit. Before departure, Trump held a press conference with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer to announce a major technology prosperity deal and fielded questions ranging from trade, the wars in Gaza and Ukraine, to illegal immigration. Both leaders have praised these signed agreements that will, according to Starmer, see billions flowing on both sides of the Atlantic. Trump hailed America's unbreakable bond with the UK and said there are only a few disagreements between the two.
We are forever joined and we are forever friends and we will always be friends. This enduring connection is why I was thrilled that the United Kingdom was the very first country with which we made a historic trade deal and a very good trade deal. He's a tough negotiator. I think it was a better deal for you than us, but these are minor details.
So this partnership today is a signal of our determination to win this race together and to ensure it brings real benefits in jobs, in growth, in lower bills, to put more hard-earned cash in people's pockets at the end of each month.
Ukraine and Poland have launched a joint operational group on drones, deepening defence ties after Russian drones recently crossed into Polish airspace. The move is being seen as a step to strengthen NATO's eastern flank.
In the shadow of Russia's ongoing war, Ukraine and Poland have announced the creation of a joint operational group on unmanned aircraft systems. The deal was unveiled in Kyiv, where Ukrainian Defense Minister Denis Shmyhal and his Polish counterpart Władysław Kosiniak-Kamysz paid tribute to fallen soldiers before addressing reporters. Shmyhal said the group will act as a platform for joint initiatives, with training programs at its core.
We have agreed on a number of important steps. The first is the creation of a joint operational group on unmanned aerial systems. This group will become a platform for coordination and development of joint initiatives.
He added that Ukrainian troops and engineers will train their Polish counterparts, while Warsaw will gain access to Ukrainian software designed to detect Russian drone attacks in advance.
The central element of this joint group will be joint training programs, which I am confident will strengthen our ability to confront our common enemy.
Kosiniak-Kamysz said the partnership goes beyond Poland, calling it vital for NATO and the European Union's eastern flank.
I will emphasize again, we need cooperation in the fields of drones and countering drones. This is a great challenge, a great opportunity for all of Europe, because it's not just about Poland.
The announcement follows a major drone incident earlier this month when 19 Russian drones entered Polish airspace. Polish jets, backed by NATO allies, shot several of them down. The first time a NATO member has fired during Russia's war in Ukraine. Russia maintains it was targeting Ukraine and did not intend to strike Poland.
Hundreds of thousands took part in anti-austerity protests across France on Thursday, urging President Emmanuel Macron and his new Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu, to acknowledge their anger and scrap looming budget cuts. Schools, hospitals and transport networks were heavily disrupted, with more than 100 arrests reported.
France has been on high alert as strikes and protests swept across the country Thursday as union-led mobilisations disrupted schools, transport and public services. More than 100 people have been arrested so far, with police reporting more than 40 blockades nationwide.
I am here to defend public services, to also demand more social justice and tax justice, in particular, to demand in fact that public money goes back into public services in hospitals, justice and schools, rather than to large companies or in tax gifts to the ultra-rich.
Union leaders say the protests are about far more than individual grievances.
Today, what we came to say is that we are determined. We know that we are in a position of power, that never has a Prime Minister been so weak, that never has a President been so weak. We see the wealthiest and the big bosses under pressure, restless, because we are finally talking about real issues, meaning the wealth that they steal from us. And so we are not ready to go home. We have to strike while the iron is hot.
Fébrile, parce que enfin on parle des vrais sujets.
By mid-morning, marches were underway in Paris, Marseille and Lyon, with streets blocked by demonstrators, waving union flags and chanting against austerity. Presence was visible in major squares, and shops in central districts kept their shutters down, fearing clashes. Authorities have deployed 80,000 officers, gendarmes, drones and armoured vehicles to manage what officials expect could be one of the largest demonstrations in recent years, involving up to 800,000 people. The unrest was sparked by a €44 billion austerity plan proposed by former Prime Minister François Bayrou, which led to his removal and Sébastien Lecornu's appointment. Unions criticise the cuts and are calling for the previous government's fiscal plans to be scrapped, for more spending on public services, higher taxes on the wealthy, and for the reversal of an unpopular change making people work longer to get a pension. This strike follows major protests in recent years, including early 2023, when there were pension reform strikes against the government, increasing the retirement age from 62 to 64. And in June 2024, demonstrations against the far-right National Rally, where unions, anti-racism groups and left-wing coalitions mobilised nationwide ahead of snap elections. Talks over the budget have become a key flashpoint in French politics.
Afghanistan's ambassador to Moscow, Gul Hassan Hassan, has welcomed the move for Afghanistan to join the SCO meetings as an observer, following a meeting with Russia's special envoy for Afghanistan, Zamir Kabulov. Our correspondent Tamim Bahis has more from Kabul.
The Afghan embassy in Russia announced that Ambassador Gul Hassan Hassan met with Zamir Kabulov, Moscow's special envoy for Afghanistan. At the center of their discussion, stronger bilateral ties and Afghanistan's role in regional cooperation. During the recent SCO summit, the majority of member states voted in favor of granting Afghanistan observer membership. This decision will allow Kabul to officially take part in the organization's future meetings, alongside major powers like China, Russia, India, and Pakistan. Ambassador Hassan called Afghanistan's participation in the SCO a fundamental need for better connection with the region, highlighting the importance of dialogue, trade, and security cooperation. Analysts say observer status could provide Afghanistan with opportunities to integrate more closely with its neighbors, though challenges remain over recognition and international legitimacy. For now, Afghanistan's seat at the table marks a step forward in regional diplomacy, as Kabul seeks stronger ties and a large role in shaping the future of Central and South Asia. This is Tamim Bahis in Kabul for A News.
Today, Azerbaijan marks the second anniversary of local anti-terror measures in the Karabakh region. On the 19th of September in 2023, an operation was launched to restore the country's constitutional order. Lasting less than 24 hours, it enabled Azerbaijan to fully restore its sovereignty. The victory by the Azerbaijani army also holds great significance for ensuring lasting peace in the future.
It has been 2 years since the Azerbaijani army carried out local anti-terror measures in the Karabakh Economic Region. Launched on the 19th of September in 2023, an operation aimed to restore the country's constitutional order. Baku's main objectives were to ensure the implementation of the trilateral statement, prevent large-scale provocations in the Karabakh Economic Zone region, and disarm Armenian armed formations from Azerbaijani territory. Using precision-guided weapons, frontline and rear positions of Armenian armed forces, long-term firing points, as well as combat equipment and military facilities were destroyed. During these local anti-terror measures, civilians and civilian infrastructure were not targeted. Armenian military personnel, running low on ammunition, abandoned their combat positions in disarray and panic. As a result of these anti-terror measures, Armenia's illegal military formations surrendered in less than 24 hours. This victory enabled Azerbaijan to fully restore its state sovereignty and territorial integrity and brought an end to separatism in Karabakh. The successful operation has prevented years of provocations and illegal actions by Armenia. During the local anti-terror measures, 192 Azerbaijani soldiers were killed. According to the decree signed by President Ilham Aliyev, the 20th of September is annually celebrated as State Sovereignty Day in Azerbaijan.
European Commissioner for Enlargement Marta Kos visited Azerbaijan's Agdam to observe mine clearance and reconstruction efforts in liberated areas. During her visit, she praised Azerbaijan's rebuilding work and highlighted the importance of peace, regional development and EU support in sectors such as healthcare, energy and transport.
The European Commissioner for Enlargement says she's impressed with the work being done to clear mines in liberated areas of Azerbaijan. During her 3-day visit to the Caucasus region, Marta Kos went to Agdam, a city in Karabakh. She was shown how mines are being cleared and saw new reconstruction work.
Unbelievable what your country is doing here, building up this area which was so many years in war and destroyed. I admire the courage of your government to build new cities, to build new facilities so that people will come back. I have learned a lot today, and there are 3 lectures or points I would like to stress. First, no war is good. War is ruining people's life, and war is always full of consequences, and the wounds are deep. Secondly, it is possible, if you are for the peace, that you build on this vision that you have to stop the war and that you have to do something for the peace. And this is what Azerbaijan and Armenia have done. And the third point is the European Union is willing to help. I hope that I will be able to sign the financial agreement today, which will enable us to put also some money in this area, especially in the healthcare system. And I'm really looking forward to bring the relations between Azerbaijan and the European Union on a new level.
Since 2020, there have been more than 220,000 hectares in Karabakh and eastern Zangezur that have been cleared of mines and explosive remnants of war, according to the Azerbaijan National Agency for Mine Action. In total, more than 38,000 anti-personnel mines were cleared, more than 22,000 anti-tank mines and 148,000 unexploded ordnance items were neutralised, making more than 209,000 items safely removed. The work is done manually, with mechanical equipment and mine-detecting dogs. Kos's visit coincides with a crucial phase of the Armenia-Azerbaijan peace process and provides an opportunity to present the EU's inter-regional relations agenda as a tangible contribution to regional development.
Following the EU Commissioner's visit to Baku, we look at Brussels' wider perspective. The European Commission has just unveiled its Resilience 2.0 Strategic Foresight Report, outlining how the EU aims to stay strong in a changing world, with areas that could also shape cooperation with Azerbaijan.
The report warns Europe must anticipate and adapt, not just react. It lists 4 core risks: economic competitiveness squeezed by strategic dependencies, runaway technologies such as AI, demographic decline and mental health pressures, and democratic erosion from disinformation and foreign meddling. Brussels lays out 8 action areas, from a clearer global vision and stronger internal and external security to technology sovereignty, a circular low-carbon economy, education reform and policies for intergenerational fairness. For Azerbaijan, several links are clear. First, energy. Even as Europe speeds its green transition, it will keep relying on secure gas supplies during the changeover. Azerbaijan's natural gas and vast wind and solar potential remain key to EU plans for reliable, cleaner energy. Second, regional connectivity. Lasting peace between Baku and Yerevan and the opening of routes such as the Zangezur corridor would help Europe diversify trade and transport links. Third, digital infrastructure. Projects like the Digital Silk Road and smart city zones in Karabakh and eastern Zangezur match Europe's drive to diversify data routes and build trusted technology corridors. The EU admits it can no longer count on stability or industrial dominance alone. Technology leadership and strategic autonomy are now decisive. By coupling foresight with cooperation, Brussels signals that its partnership with Baku can evolve with the green and digital transformations while reinforcing peace and connectivity across the wider region.
Firefighters are battling 2 fast-spreading forest fires, one in Antalya's Alanya district and another in Muğla's Milas district. Strong winds are fueling both blazes, pushing them close to residential areas. A forest fire that broke out in the Ali Efendi neighbourhood of Alanya in Turkey's Antalya province is threatening nearby homes and farmland. The flames, driven by strong winds, have spread rapidly, forcing the evacuation of several houses and damaging greenhouses and gardens. Firefighters and AFAD emergency teams have been deployed with a precautionary power cut imposed in the area. Meanwhile, in Muğla's Milas district, another blaze has erupted and spread into nearby forest land. Fire crews from the Muğla Regional Directorate of Forestry are battling the flames. Authorities say there have been no casualties reported so far. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan welcomed Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas at the presidential complex in Ankara on Thursday. Speaking during the meeting with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas, Erdogan said Israel continues to undermine peace and vowed that Turkey will be the voice of Palestine at the UN General Assembly. He added that Ankara will continue to raise the Palestinian issue on every platform. President Erdogan emphasized that securing an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and ending the humanitarian crisis are Turkey's priorities. Formula One heads to the streets of Baku this weekend for round 17 of the season, with the championship battle between McLaren teammates Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris once again set to take centre stage. Our Narchicek Jahangirli has more.
We are coming to you live from the pit lane here at the stunning Baku City Circuit, where preparations are already in full swing ahead of this weekend's race. Right now, just meters from where I'm standing, teams are hard at work practicing their pit stop routines. 24 engineers moving in perfect unison to change tires in under 3 seconds. It's high pressure, high precision work that could make or break a race on Sunday. Behind the garage doors, engineers and strategists are finalizing car setups, while drivers are in their briefings, reading the track, analyzing the data and preparing mentally for what is always of the trickiest street circuits on the calendar. With no on-track action today, Thursday is all about media duties, fan interactions and final garage preparations before the cars hit the circuit on Friday. It's been a busy day in the paddock, with the Paddock Club guests enjoying guided pit lane walks, getting a close-up view of the garage, tools and technical operations as the final touches are made to the cars. The distinct hum of power units being tied up echo through the pit buildings as teams tested systems and fine-tuned load rack configurations tailored to Baku's unique demands. The Baku weekend always promises the unexpected, whether it's last lap overtakes, dramatic crashes or out of nowhere podiums. For now, all eyes are on tomorrow's first practice sessions. Until then, it's media microphones, pit lane cameras and the ever-building tension of a city bracing for speed.
Thursday's UEFA Champions League matches delivered plenty of action across Europe. Manchester City, Barcelona, Sporting CP and Eintracht Frankfurt all recorded wins, while Club Brugge and FC Copenhagen shared points with their opponents.
Manchester City opened their 2025-26 Champions League campaign with a 2-0 win over Napoli, as Erling Haaland became the fastest player to reach 50 Champions League goals with his opener, followed by a second from Jeremy Doku. Barcelona claimed a 2-1 victory at Newcastle United, with Marcus Rashford scoring both goals to secure the win. Sporting CP cruised to a 4-1 home win over Kairat Almaty, with Francisco Trincao scoring twice, complemented by strikes from Alisson Santos and Giovanni Quenda. Eintracht Frankfurt also impressed with a 5-1 home win over Galatasaray, overcoming an early goal from Yunus Akgün to score 5 unanswered goals. Jonathan Burkhardt from the home team scored twice. In other matches of the day, Club Brugge beated AS Monaco with 4-1 and FC Copenhagen drew 2-2 with Bayer Leverkusen. With the first matchday complete, teams now turn their focus to the next round of fixtures as the race in Europe's Premier Club competition heats up.
And that's the news update from us in Baku this morning. Stay tuned to A News for more.